Good morning. This is the Board of County Commissioners agenda setting. This is a regular meeting. It is Thursday, July 27th, 2023. It is 10:07 a.m. The session is set to go until 11 a.m. This is a hybrid meeting, and we're at 3000 Pacific Avenue, room 110. For public virtual attendance, you may follow along on the Thurston County YouTube channel. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. Commissioner Gary Edwards joining you from the boardroom, and Commissioner Ty Menser is excused for today. The only topic on the agenda is the review of the Board of County Commissioners draft agenda for our meeting of August 1st, 2023. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll call the meeting to order at 2 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Menser, and then the approval of the Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 agenda. Any questions?
No
Good.
questions.
Okay, next, there will be an opportunity for the public to address the board and county manager's update.
At this point, I don't have any pending updates, Madam Chair.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thanks.
Okay, so we'll move on to consent items. There's three. First, item 3A from the auditor's office is the approval of the voucher list for the week of July 17th.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is for your consideration, approving the voucher list for the week of July 17, 2003 for a combined amount of $2,187,717.89. This is in your consent agenda because this particular voucher does not include any expenditures related to the tenant improvements here at this location. So I think we're moving into more into that mode. So eventually we will see more and more of this particular item of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you very much.
No questions for me. Okay, we'll move on to item 3B from Information Technology. It's the renewal of annual maintenance for Adobe software.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You will see this item as a department item and not as a consent. And this is related to the renewal of the Adobe Acrobat licensing. And this is for $77,904.37. And this is for a 1-year renewal. As you may be aware, Adobe is an application that we use on a daily basis, not just here in the office, but across the county. And I myself use almost in an hourly basis because most of the documents that we receive as an attachments is an Adobe, which also is a PDF file, as we call it. So, and again, this is, as I'm gonna steal Commissioner Edwards' words, this is the cost of doing business. And we do have budget authority to cover this cost. This is just part of the normal process. And then Sherry L., the IT director, is here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sherry.
I don't have anything to add. This is ongoing maintenance. We pay for it every year.
No questions, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Oh, no questions for me. Okay, so then this item will be moved into the department items. So then our last consent agenda item is item 3C from the treasurer's office, which is to authorize the sale of tax title property via private negotiation to Dale Luger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe this is a carryover item from your last meeting. You consider the last time I have some attachments in here for your consideration. As a framework, this is a property that is 3.25 to 6 acres. And they intend to sell this to a private negotiations for a total of $6,114.50. I believe last time there was a question by the board whether this particular property could be an asset related either to the Mazama Pocket Gopher or the Oregon Spotted Frog. The Rob Gilder reached out to staff and want to circle back on that?
Certainly, thank you. So we did check with staff that are focused on the HCP, and this does not, this area, this parcel is outside of the screen area for the Oregon spotted frog, and unfortunately does not really facilitate ideal gopher habitat as well. Although there is some property across further, or not adjacent, that does have some habitat, but this parcel does not. Also did, Brad Murphy also followed up with Commissioner Menser following that meeting, and also does not, while it has some wetlands and stream habitat, is not necessarily recommended at this point in time for county acquisition for use of habitat or stormwater needs. So they do recommend kind of moving forward. But that said, I think it makes a great point that as the tax titles come up, to be more proactive, to really look at them as opportunities for habitat potential sites.
And I think you know that this property really doesn't have any buildable options because it's encumbered 100% by wetlands. So it really is not, well, so unless the board has any questions, this is for your consideration, take an action on Tuesday.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. No trees on it to fall down either right now, right? We want to get rid of it before that happens.
That's right.
Well, I just want to thank Commissioner Edwards for asking those questions, because I think it is important that, you know, as I think this is the new normal that we're in, right, with the HCP. And so as these properties come along, I think asking those questions, it's very important.
Thank you.
Okay, and then that will conclude our regular agenda. Then we'll have our standing items. At 3:30, we do have a public hearing from Community Planning and Economic Development, which is the Olympia Joint Plan.
Yeah, for your consider, you received public testimony related to the proposed Olympia Joint Plan. As you may recall, the city of Lacey, the city of Olympia has passed a recommendation for you to consider approval of this. There's a couple of elements on for rezoning, and that's the Glenmore Village and Yelm Highway on Ridge Road. It's about 8.8 acres. There's either a couple of options, one to rezone, I believe. The other one is to take the requirement of building a grocery store. And I believe that is what the planning commission recommended as opposed to the rezoning.
That's correct.
So that is for your consideration. Staff only has one action for you to consider. That will be to close the public hearing. And we'll come back depending on the public testimony with additional conversation for you to eventually take a formal action in approving this plan. Leah Davis is here to answer any questions and provide additional perspective.
Good morning, commissioners. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Leah. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No questions from you, Leah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then after that, that will conclude our agenda for August 1st. So are there any questions about the agenda for August 1st?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so with that, 10:16, we are adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Short and sweet. Thank you.